Okay, so the Matrix Trilogy. Is it good? Like, do you think it's a good trilogy?
I think it's one of the greatest trilogies, maybe in the top 10 to top 15.
Yeah.
And first we have to break down what would be 15 trilogies in science fiction.
Well, I guess that is true. There's not very many good trilogies per se. I mean, because you have the prequel trilogy, which is doo-doo. Okay, Nelson does not like the prequel trilogy. Nelson does not like the sequel trilogy of Star Wars either.
We don't even mention this.
So
that's not even really.
That is one we don't speak of.
Yeah, the trilogy that is not spoken or not named.
So, original trilogy is
well, that's the number one.
Obviously, greatest trilogy of all time.
And I could almost say there is no other, because I'm that much of a hardcore Star Wars fanatic. But I have to recognize there's other movies besides Star Wars and other trilogies.
Back to the Future is a great trilogy.
It's 3 or 4 movies.
It's three. So how many actual trilogies, I guess, are good? But
we'll have to do another video about that.
Yeah, that's another one. But I just, this was very meh to me. Now,
really?
The Matrix, I really enjoyed. Right. So let me give you a background. I refused to watch it up till 2 years ago.
Had you seen it before?
Never seen it. I have never seen it.
Really?
It came out in 1999, so I was 19 years old.
In 2000 and 2003
or 4 or something like that. Yeah. So I never wanted to watch it because I can remember seeing the trailer.
Wait, how old were you?
I was 19.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
Okay. Now, it was a busy year for me. I went to basic training and stuff like that. So it was a busy point in my life. But still, I refused to watch it because I remember thinking to myself, oh, we're in a computer program? How stupid is that? Like, I didn't understand everything. Like, I didn't get it. I didn't understand what the big deal was. Nobody had ever spoiled it for me. I had no idea what this movie was about until 2 years ago when I watched it.
Delta Mike was not in your life.
This is correct. And the reason I watched it, see this little trilogy right here? It was $9.99 at Walmart. All 3 movies on Blu-ray. And on a whim, I said, well, it's $10. So I picked it up. And then I watched it.
Yeah.
The first one blew my mind. Like, I had no idea that's what it was about.
It was ahead of its time, kind of thing.
And
it was some groundbreaking CGI.
Oh yeah,
They were pushing the envelope. They really were before their time. With it, obviously, when you see the CGI, you're like, man, I could only imagine what that would be now. Which we're going to get a taste of it again. But
it wasn't the CGI that blew my mind. It was the story. It was the idea.
Oh yeah. The whole concept.
It's
different. It's different.
It was different. I had no idea it was basically like Terminator. It was the machines.
Yep.
And a war between humans and the machines. The whole Matrix thing. I didn't know that's what it was. That people were suspended into this computer matrix to make them believe that they're living normal lives, when the whole time they were being harvested as like battery
Correct.
power.
Your
because
energy.
they did something to the.
You scorched the sky. So the machines were solar powered at the time,
Right.
which at this point that's a little outdated, and we kind of know that given all the different technologies that are coming around. But at that time, that was the big future tech was solar power in 1999. So the machines were dependent upon the sun. And
Right.
so, as not a last-ditch effort, as what was one of the big efforts to win the war against the machines, they scorched the sky, which they blacked the sky. There's clouds and thunderstorms everywhere, so they wouldn't get any power.
Correct.
The machines adapted to that and figured out they could harvest
humans,
our energy. As long as we stayed alive, we produced a certain amount of energy, whether it would be from warmth or just our electrical impulses from our heart. So they were batteries.
Right.
Copper, and that's why you hear the term copper top used a couple times in the original Matrix.
See, I don't remember that.
There's a couple, there's references.
So it blew my mind. I was like, you see, now I can't believe I didn't watch it. I don't know. I guess maybe my friends, producer Nick and stuff like that, he never watched it either. So I guess my group that I hung out with at the time and just didn't watch it, didn't, say, hey, you need to watch it. I just knew what, because, I go against the grain a little bit, right? And I don't just... I'm not a window licker. I don't just like movies because people say I should like them.
True science fiction fan. You need to be in your life at that time.
So
I would have brought you to the theater. I had another friend at a time that I hauled to the theater to see this trilogy.
So it blew my mind 2 years ago. I was like, I was in my first home theater in my other, my little man cave in my other house.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking, holy crap, now this is awesome. It was pleasantly surprised.
So you watched it 2 years ago. That's
2
your
years
first
ago.
contact with it.
Right. And the reason I didn't watch 2 and 3, because I did hear that those sucked. I heard lots of people complain about them. So I was like, well, the first one, I'm a minimalist, right? Everybody knows this. Less is more for me sometimes.
Which that's the first movie.
And to me, I'm like, it ended, like, I like ambiguous endings like that where, yeah, he's got to continue the fight and stuff like that. But it really didn't need sequels, in my opinion. The movie would have been perfect as a standalone.
It was A New Hope.
Did
A New Hope need a sequel?
Not really, because it had an ending.
There you go.
It had the award ceremony and everything, and you could just deduce that they were going to be victorious.
Yeah, Vader spun out.
Right.
It could have ended it right there.
Correct.
And that's kind of how Matrix 1 was. So the Matrix 1 was itself, not self-encapsulated, but kind of like that. And Matrix 2 and 3 got a lot of mixed reviews. Okay. Especially 2.
Yeah.
2 got a lot of mixed reviews.
It got, they tried to get too cute, I guess. Because I'll be honest with you, I didn't understand most of it. Like, okay, who the hell, or what the hell is the Oracle? What is it?
So the Oracle...
If it's not a person, how did it even happen?
So first we have to back up what we're dealing with. We're not really dealing with machines. We're dealing with the birth of AI, artificial intelligence, who is us. They're a copy of us. And AI seeks to be a perfect version of us, which ultimately means getting rid of us.
Okay.
Because we're flawed.
Right.
But they're a copy of us. She is the mother of the Matrix, and the architect is the father. There were 2 programs designed to construct the Matrix. Okay? The Oracle...
Well, how do you know that? It's never explained.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. When Neo meets the architect...
Yeah, but that's in part 3. Oh, no, that's the end of part 2. You're right. That's the end of part 2. Yeah.
And if she's the mother of the Matrix, I'm the father. And then you start
I don't remember that.
Yeah, and that's why... I've watched it a few times.
Yeah.
Because you got to kind of watch it a couple times.
Because I was trying to... I was like, okay, what the hell's going on?
Yeah, it is like that. The first time I watched it in theaters, I didn't have the insight I have now. I was kind of like, okay, like they're in prison, they're using them for energy, they're fighting the machines, it's in the internet. Okay, here we go. So that's who the Oracle is.
Okay. So I'll buy that.
And the Oracle, here's the deal, characteristic, the Oracle...
but why can't she tell Neo what she needs to tell him? Why is everything so ambiguous?
Because she can't see beyond choice. You see, which brings us to the whole thing was humans versus machines, free will. Free will and choice.
Right.
And so that was one of the themes. There's a couple of themes going on in the movie. There's the Messiah theme, which is Neo.
Right.
There is the theme of choice and free will, which is also kind of a spiritual thing too. Why did God create humans instead of the angels? Because the angels don't have free will. Well, one of them did.
But I definitely saw that. With Neo being the one, but ultimately he's a sacrifice. Like he has to sacrifice himself to.
Correct. The only way to get rid of Smith is for Neo to die. Because Smith, and she explains this in the third movie, he meets her one more time in 3. And it's basically he's...
And the reason, do you know why she changed her appearance? I didn't realize. The woman died. She passed away. The actress.
I figured that, but I didn't
because I was confused. I'm like, there's got to be a reason.
So they had she changed her shell.
I went to IMDb and they said she passed away. And the movies were shot back to back. Like, 2 and 3 were shot back to back, but she passed away. So they had to use this woman who's actually one of her friends, I think.
Oh, really?
Like they were friends because they were both actresses, right? Or something like that. But they were friends and they got her to play the part, and then she had to explain why she looked different.
Yeah, it changed her shell, I think is the term they used with it. So, so the thing with her is she is the emotion of the Matrix. And I think she's the one that it's revealed in either 2 or 3 that she is the one that solved the problem with the original Matrix. Okay, so first of all, there's 7 incarnations of the Matrix. This is the 6th, which is why we're getting resurrections. The original Matrix, though, which I assume is the first one, which failed so bad because it was perfect. If you remember his interaction with the architect, he explains to Neo basically his view of Neo's purpose. Why is Neo here? Why was he created? And what happened? And there's 6. This trilogy right there is the 6th version of the Matrix. Neo is designed because there was an inherent flaw that had to be incorporated into the Matrix, and that was the deal. We have.
What do you mean Neo was designed? I thought he was human.
Well, Neo is actually a program. The one is actually something constructed in the Matrix to balance itself. It's a byproduct of giving us free will. And that's what Neo is. And then the balance for Neo is Agent Smith. Because Neo exists, Agent Smith must exist to balance Neo. That's why the only way to kill Agent Smith was for Neo to sacrifice himself.
Right. Yeah.
And that was it. But yeah, free will came. And the reason why free will came is because the Oracle figured out that we have to have the perception of choice. And if we don't, we can't handle it. It can't be perfect. We have to have struggles. We have to have death, mortality.
So yeah, the first Matrix was too perfect.
It was, yeah. He said and he bragged on it. He said it was a thing of whatever. I can't even the quote, but it was perfect. He made a flawless Matrix, but it failed miserably. They lost in the crops of humans. They lost whole crops because the humans couldn't handle it and they broke down and they died. And so thus the Oracle, which is the mother of the Matrix.
I need to watch these again, I guess. But of course, I don't know if I want to.
Well, I liked them, but I like science fiction, and I'll watch the good. And it's a good science fiction.
Now let's get into some other beefs that I have with them. Well, before I get into beefs, things that I think are awesome. The world, right? The way the world that they built, and I say they, I mean the people making the movie, not the machines.
The Wachowski brothers or whatever.
Yeah, the idea that they had, say, hey, look, we're going to do this. It's going to be a Matrix. It's going to be a computer program that people are in. Their subconscious, they think it's real. But the way they also said, hey, but we're also going to have them fight each other almost realistically with guns, kung fu, you know what I'm saying? All that stuff. That is neat. A little grounded in reality in that aspect. Like, the way Keanu fights or Neo fights Smith, it was like hand-to-hand fighting with like superpowers, but still it's like hand-to-hand. So I thought that was, kind of neat. It wasn't, but there's only so much slow motion action I can handle.
Yeah.
And by the middle of Reloaded, I was rolling my eyes. I'm like, how many times I gotta watch them flip and shoot at each other?
But you gotta remember, that was made in the late 90s. Okay? That's like a big thing back then, doing slow-mo.
And it bothers me.
Yeah, well, I mean, that was in the 90s. We'll see what they do with Resurrections.
Oh, they're going to do the same shit. There's no doubt. They're going to do the same thing.
Probably my biggest beef with it was the absence of Neo doing what the agents were able to do with the rapid fist punches and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
All of a sudden...
that only happened really in the first one.
That's it. That's right. And I didn't like that. They cut that out to make him more, I guess...
superhero-ish.
Yeah, he's flying, but at the same time, he's not pulling those punches with the Merovingi's henchmen and all that. And I'm like, you could have all that. Why? And I guess to make it more believable that he could still die. Can you remember when he blocks the blade?
Oh, yeah, and they say, see, he is a man, or whatever, yeah.
And by the way, I'm a big fan of the Merovingi. Like that character.
The Frenchman.
Oh, the Frenchman.
Yeah.
I love the Frenchman.
It was good.
Oh, my God. What was his Cobbets? It was, see, he's a man, he can bleed, but when he blocked the bullets initially, when he told him to kill him, he did like that. And the Merovingi says, so you have
a few tricks or something?
Skills.
Oh, skills.
So you have
I would say
skills.
stopping bullets is skills.
Yeah, that was funny. His character was very. I liked his character. I really did.
I didn't understand the albino dreadlock people.
I don't either, but they were cool and they could fly through buildings.
Yeah.
I dug them. It was kind of like that neo-war thing kind of going on, like what you see in Blade Runner and all that.
I never saw. Blade Runner.
Blade Runner. You know what I mean? I'm flipping, but kind of like a little bit. You had the black hearse, the old Ford with the things come out, the suicide doors in the back. Then you had the leather jackets. You had the eyeglasses, the sunglasses with no, with no rims right here. He had some kind of like 40s, 50s gothic with some kind of like future into it. So it's, for me, it's I forget the term for it, neo-noir or whatsoever. They use it in Blade Runner a lot. You see that in Blade Runner, those things.
Yeah.
So that's why I dug it. I'm a fan of the trilogy. It's not a perfect trilogy by any means, but it's very thick. You have to watch it a couple times and pick up on the small things with it.
The action scenes, were a little much sometimes. And I say a little much. They went on too long.
Oh, yeah.
I can handle it. I just would have, like, every action scene or fight scene probably could have been cut damn near in half.
Mm-hmm.
All of them. Mm-hmm. So it just kind of dragged it out. I mean, they didn't need to be 2 hours and 15 minutes. They probably could have been a good hour and 45 minutes, hour and 50 minutes, right around that, and it would have been perfect.
The bullet count rivals Commando and Rambo. The one that Rambo.
How many bullets do they have in the magazine's this long? And what's his name? Lawrence Fishburne. What's his name? Morpheus. He must shoot 600 rounds out of those 2 MP5s that he has. So, but I mean, whatever. That's neither here nor there. I mean, Mel Gibson never reloads in Lethal Weapon. It's fine. But I don't know. They just kind of were long in the tooth for me. In the last one, in Revolutions, when Jada Pinkett, how is she getting movies? It's not her acting skill.
Was she in any other movies after this?
Now, I say that ironically. She's in one of my favorite horror movies of all time, Demon Knight. But her acting performance is not very good in there. Yeah. Okay, but anyway, it's a horror movie. It's supposed to be a little cheesy. So how does she get in? Anyway, she's such an over actor. But the scene where, they're trying to get back so they can activate the EMP, that goes on and on and on, and they're just traveling, and it's like, goodness, just get there already. Did it have to be that long? So those are a lot of my beefs with it, other than the very convoluted, complicated story. Mm-hmm. So I guess that's why it just didn't resonate as well for me. Now, I didn't hate them. Mm-hmm. They were entertaining for what they were to me, but I don't think they're good enough for me to like them to want to watch them over and over. I could watch the first one again and probably just watch that one the rest of my life, and put myself in my #original trilogy bubble and just say, hey, #original Matrix, and I'll be fine.
Yeah.
But whatever. I'm not gonna crap on it because there's far worse out there.
Yeah. Well, I think your opinion doesn't count. And this is a multi-layered movie with many themes going into it.
Oh, I'm sorry. Whose YouTube channel? Oh, it's mine. So my opinion trumps. No, it's fine. It's okay. I'm not. It's not terrible, but.
So I think the thing is to find out how many good trilogies are there, or how many, and then kind of rank them and see where this thing would fall. For me, I loved it. It had flaws in it, of course, but it was very thematic. It had a lot of themes that permeated all three. Yes, the action scenes were drawn out. That's kind of what it did. It was like a million bullets and a million slow-mos. But for its time, it was like,
yeah,
in 1999. That was like big.
People
big.
Like, I'm not going to say any names, but people like Booger, like popcorn movies that don't make sense. Because all his taste is in his mouth. And I guess that's why they did, these movies were so successful, and maybe why they felt like they had more shooting, more action, more explosions. That's what people want to see.
And you never know, it's Warner Brothers Studio, so you know how good they are. They're terrible. Warner Brothers is what's wrong with Warner Brothers. So
the only good thing is I'll be able to watch it here in my house. The new one, HBO Max.
There you go. Yeah.
I'm not gonna go to theater to watch it.
Nope.
I mean, I have it here and it's free. I'm not gonna pay money to go. Dude, think about that. If you and your wife want to go watch a movie, you can just kiss $50 goodbye. That's not even eating.
Well, yeah, exactly. They've shot themselves in the foot. So like Cry Macho, it just came out. I'm gonna watch it. I'm not going to theater. I have HBO Max.
Right.
Why go pay $50? Preposterous amount for popcorn and drinks. The what is it, $13 the
Look,
ticket?
if
It's ridiculous.
well, yeah, if you go after 6 o'clock, 6 p.m. or whatever, you pay full price, and it's like, I don't know, 11 or 12. Is it that much now?
I thought it was $12.
Goodness.
12 something. Yeah, last time I went.
That's crazy.
You know,
And that's because when you go to a movie theater, the reason why everything is so expensive, like concession wise, because even with the ticket prices being that high, they still don't make money on the ticket sales, because that's how much it costs for them to show the movie. Hundreds of thousands of dollars just to show it, just to have the license to show it at each screen. So if they have multiple screens, they have to pay for a few $100,000 for each one.
They're gonna have to pay the actors less. So what is
I don't know what they're gonna have to do.
The studio
But
and everything.
It's killing theater, especially whenever people do like me and say, you know what, I'm just gonna, build a theater in my house and have a very good experience at home instead of, yes, it's a little bit of money out of your pocket, but I don't have to leave my house.
Look, man, I got a couch, a soundbar, a sub, and some scotch in a cabinet. I'll play it on my 4K TV.
Nelson does not advocate for sound bars.
It's cheap. It's like $200.
I made that very clear in my video on getting started.
It has a sub. So boom. Got to turn it down so loud. But what I'm saying is, why go pay?
Right.
Even with the little setup I got, just a normal.
Yeah, if you can
most
enjoy
people
it.
have,
The whole point of a movie is what you want to get immersed in what you're watching. You want to feel like you're in it. You want to feel like you're in that world. And if you can do that at your house, why go do it at the theater?
And it almost has gotten to that point before the streaming. It was the big blockbusters people were trying to see, because to get that epic experience with the action, the big superhero movies and all those big science fiction movies, the big one, the CGI, the sound effects, everything, to get that big theater experience. But now they shot themselves in the foot. It's too much. It's like inflation. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Oh,
something else I wanted to mention. Let's get back to the Matrix, since that's what we were talking about. I complained about Jada Pinkett's acting, but she wasn't the worst one. The worst one was that captain, the one that didn't want them to take the ships and everything. The big, burly white guy.
He'd been in a lot of different movies.
Oh,
yeah,
he was painful.
Yeah, he was
painful to watch. And then the one that was in charge of all the military that kept the light skinned black guy, he was bad too.
Yeah, he's in the book. What is it? Kevin Spader. Blacklist.
Oh, the Blacklist.
The Blacklist.
The Blacklist.
He plays the FBI head in that, and he's also Martian Manhunter in the DC universe, like in the movies.
Is he that bad in everything?
Well, I mean, he was good in Batman, Superman. And then the Justice League movie, was he in Justice League? I think he was. Yeah.
He was in Batman v Superman?
Yeah, he plays the military guy in the Lois Lane. Man of Steel. He was in Man of Steel. He's the military general. He's actually Martian Manhunter. He's just been around for a while, and he's disguised as a human.
Anyway, his acting was terrible. There's a lot of overacting in it.
Oh yeah. I won't disagree with that. Some over top. The kid that plays, that's putting the bullets in for the last guy, shooting the robot.
Oh, he was awesome.
You like the little kid?
No.
He went
captain.
Out. Oh, gee,
he was a gangster. Yeah. I liked his. I thought he played his part well, and just that character was badass.
Yeah, it was a good little. It was a small part, but it was well written, and they got the right guy to play it. He really
like
did.
A Hispanic guy.
Yeah,
with just a little bit of an accent.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he was Filipino.
He's something like that.
Yeah, he's Asian Islander, but he was like hardcore. And then at the end, it was like the kid I didn't watch the training video, or I didn't finish the training for that, and he was like,
neither did I. Yeah,
and then he passes. That was a good moment in that movie. It brought some grounding to it, some emotion to it, and everything. But it was interesting. And the whole thing in the end is the humans can't live without the machines, and the machines can't live without the humans. That's what the whole struggle is in the end.
So they say he said he's gonna set them free, but to do what?
Release them to be in the real world. That he's going to give choice to the ones who are hooked up to the Matrix.
If they want to leave.
Yes, if they want to leave the Matrix.
But then if they leave the Matrix, they got to go live underground in Zion. They can't live.
Well, that's what we don't know. That's kind of what's left. Yeah. Revolutions or resurrections, will expound upon what happened. And obviously, from what the trailer seems, it seems as if this is the 7th rotation of the Matrix. Like it's happening again. But that kind of defies what's went on, because Zion still stands. Zion got nailed the first 5 times in the Matrix. Now Zion stood, so Keanu served his purpose as the one. But we think he's dead at the end of Revolutions, but they carry him off. So what the theory is right now is that he's actually being held and contained by the machines.
Okay.
In his own Matrix prison. And I got a theory with that is because if they release him, then the Matrix would have to reset again for the 7th time. And supposedly with the 7th time, the humans prevail. That is the prophecy.
Okay. So, why is Carrie Ann Moss in it? She clearly died.
I don't know. That would be called
Unless
Resurrections.
she's only in the Matrix.
Well,
to kind of keep him at bay.
Or maybe they salvaged her out of that ship that she was shish-kebabbed in, and they saved her. Even though she passed away, maybe they went and saved her while he was roaming blind to go do his thing.
Oh yeah, that threw me for a loop too. I was like, oh shit, he lost his eyes.
Oh yeah, he's blind.
I wasn't
blind
waiting. I didn't know that happened. I wasn't waiting for that. You didn't spoil that.
Could. I forgot.
Had I known, I'd have been more thorough in
Yes,
my spoiling.
I'm slipping.
Would you like a Coke since you're out of coffee? You can.
No, I have a caffeine headache. This is double caffeine community.
Well, is there anything else you want to talk about? Anything? No? Have you watched any horror movies? Because
No.
I released my first scary movie review yesterday.
What'd you release it on?
I did the TV series Creep Show. I watched the first season of that. And then I watched that movie The Ritual on Netflix, which was really good. I really enjoyed it. And then the Benicio del Toro Wolfman.
Mm-hmm.
I just uploaded the video at like 10 o'clock last night.
I saw that one with Benicio del Toro. It was pretty good.
Yeah, I liked it.
Yeah, it was John Hopkins is in it. Anthony Hopkins.
Anthony Hopkins, yeah. John Hopkins.
That's a cancer treatment center.
Yeah, I liked it. You know, that's one that gets kind of pooped on a lot. And
Hugo Weaving is in that one.
Yes,
kind of
I
that
mentioned
time
that.
period
I was like, holy crap! All of a sudden, I'm seeing all kind of stuff with Hugo Weaving in it.
That was kind of his thing, like his breakout time in the U.S. He's a New Zealander actor.
That early to mid 2000s. Yeah.
Yeah, Lord of the Rings. You know, it was a big. I don't know if that
V
was
for
his
Vendetta.
start. Yeah, V for Vendetta spawned from that. Like I think Lord of the Rings was his big thing.
Well, that was before Wolfman,
Matrix,
because Wolfman wasn't until 2010. So
Yeah.
Lord of the Rings was out before that.
Well, I think Lord of the Rings came out for this, and that set him up through Hollywood over here. Because I don't recall him in anything before Lord of the Rings, really. And Lord of the Rings, it's all down in
I don't recall him in anything before The Matrix.
Yeah, so I think
Lord of the Rings was before The Matrix?
I think so. Because he's from New Zealand or Australia, and a lot of those actors are from that area. That, because that's where, what's his name? Peter Jackson's from. That's where it was all filmed and everything. So he used a lot of those actors and actresses from that area, and he was one of them. Hugo Weaving was one. So
so I watched those. Yeah, look it up. And then his niece is Samara Weaving, the chick that's in that. You and I watched that movie Ready or Not, where they're chasing her. It was the family playing games, and she's in Netflix. Oh, watch that. Netflix horror movie, The Babysitter.
This may have been before that. Oh, 2001. So the Matrix
was first.
And then this came on around a little bit after that. So 2 years. So the Matrix was first. So Hugo Weaving, as if we have time for this.
Oh, we don't have anything else to do.
Let's see here.
It's a fast-growing YouTube channel that people are dying to watch.
Yeah. He's 6'2". I didn't realize he's that tall.
Who?
Hugo Weaving.
Is he really?
He's 6'2". Yeah. And I'm wrong. He is English. I thought he was Australian, but he resides in Australia. and that's where most of his professional career is. Born in colonial Nigeria to English parents. Interesting. So, V for Vendetta, 05. He was in Captain America. I don't recall that.
Me neither.
Interesting. Mortal Engines. Who the hell wants to watch that?
Hacksaw Ridge.
Hacksaw Ridge. Okay.
Yeah.
Don't recall that.
So yeah, he's awesome. Agent Smith was. Now I did enjoy in the first movie the agents a lot more. I guess because it was a simpler concept.
It wasn't as complex because they started bringing in all that rogue behind backdoor program stuff, and the Merovingi and all this. Like the Matrix is not just humans and machines via the agents. It is like programs, rogue programs.
Well, I looked at it as
backdoor stuff.
The agents were kind of like antivirus, and you know what I'm saying. That's how I imagine that what they were there for.
Balance.
Yeah, anything that like these humans that escaped and were going back in the Matrix to try to stop the Matrix. The agents were there to, clean that out. So that's how I always.
He was in Peaches.
That's how I always envisioned it, and then I guess maybe that's why once I watched part 2 and it got so complex and everything, it kind of took away from that and went a different direction. They almost George Lucas did, where they made it up as they went.
Well, I don't know. I haven't revisited. Maybe they'll explain it in the Matrix Revisited. Like we'll figure out what's going on in their head.
So predictions. Let's do predictions for Revolutions. What do you think is going to happen? Not something you've read.
Yeah. For Resurrections.
Resurrection. Yeah, Revolutions is. I'm sorry. Resurrection, the new one that's coming out in November. What do you think is going to happen?
I think this is the 7th boot up for the Matrix, and the machines are trying to stop it. I keep going that route, and they've got him kind of in his own mental prison, and he's got. He doesn't remember, and it's called Resurrection. So that's why we see.
How do you think it's going to end, though?
How it's going to end?
What do you think is going to happen? I'll tell you what I think. I think that Neo is not going to remember anything from the other ones. It's almost like they brought him back. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Because they're trying to renege on their agreement. Mm-hmm. And Carrie-Anne Moss is there, but she's not alive. She's just in the Matrix. And he's going... I think the ending... I don't know exactly what's going to happen, but I think the ending is going to be ambiguous again. There is no way... If this movie... They're going to have to leave it open to make another one. There is no way this is going to be the last movie.
Oh, no, they're doing 3 more. This is one of... this is going to be a 6... total 6 thing. So this is just one of 3 more. That's what it is. So we will get an ending, I think, at the end of the 6th movie. Yeah. So buckle up. I think we'll get some good CGI. And maybe more practical effects. We'll see. So I think in the end, it's gonna be like the truce. I don't think we win. I think it's going to be the truce where humans and machines will have to learn to get over the fact that they both need each other in this era. That's what I think. It's going to go ahead. And Moss, so I saw something in the trailer.
So here lies the problem with cinema. But go ahead.
Saw something in the trailer. Keanu Reeves looks in a mirror and he sees a different person's face. Now, I didn't know, and I couldn't tell, because it happens quick, if that's Hugo Weaving's face, because they were one and the same, kind of, or it was a different person's face, which leads me to my other theory that the one, not theory, but it's kind of what the architect said, the one is a byproduct, like part of the equation. In other words, he's a program, and the one is a program that goes, it chooses a human. You see
so
what I'm saying?
it happened to choose Neo.
Yes, that time.
But not
it's always Neo, but it happens to choose a different, like organically, physically.
I understand that, but this Neo looked just like the Neo, so how would they...
That I don't know.
You know what I'm saying? Keanu's Keanu, so...
Watch the trailer again. It's interesting. He
Oh
looks
my
at a
God.
mirror, and it all of a sudden is a different face, and he looks again, and it fades away, and it's his face. But I'm wondering if that's Agent Smith also. So I don't know.
Is Hugo Weaving in this one? They haven't confirmed that?
They haven't confirmed that. Yeah.
Okay. Well. So it looks like we're going to be doing more Matrix stuff.
Down the road, yeah.
But yes,
Christmas.
we will do a review on the new one when it comes out in November. Yeah. You want to come watch that here?
Yeah,
I think we should do that.
that'd be good.
I
Maybe
think
we
we
should
should
like
watch
a
it.
live.
Yeah, I need to figure out how to do that. How to record our beautiful faces as we watch something. You know, like the real accomplished YouTubers do. I'm not on that level. I mean, I'm filming on an iPhone. So
Got a tripod on it.
yeah, it's got a tripod. I even have a little light. You probably see the light in my glasses like you can in most videos. You know, it's high production quality. You know, the production
Quiet.
value of this channel is there's no other. You know. So
All right.
all right, well, I guess we'll wrap it up and catch us on. Well, catch me for sure. I don't know if he's gonna do some horror movies and want to discuss. You know.
Depends. Catch me in October. We'll see.
What you mean in October? It's Halloween season now.
October.
There's
Not a
Spirit
big-
Halloween's open. You don't like Halloween? What's wrong with you?
I like the weather on Halloween time. And I like, you know what? The Charlie Brown, the Great Pumpkin Charlie Brown.
Yeah.
I like
But
that.
there's nothing like watching a good horror movie at this time of year.
I
I mean,
got-
I can watch horror movies all the time, but this time of year, you know, as soon as you know the weather changes, I mean, we're getting another cool front next week.
Ask me once the weather drops below 88. Steady over here. Then maybe my frame of mind will change. I'm moody, you know. Once the weather hits, maybe I'll be like, oh yes, The Conjuring. Or oh yes, which I had a friend watch The Conjuring, the new one the other day, and he said, you lied, that wasn't scary.
It's not scary.
Really? You think it was scary? I thought it was kind of scary. Yeah, really?
The first Conjuring, scary. The second Conjuring was silly.
Yeah.
And then the third one, I thought had a good concept.
Mm-hmm.
It was just a little underwhelming.
Yeah.
You know, I liked the fact that it wasn't just like a demon possession. You know, it was a little different.
Yeah.
So,
I've only watched this last one.
yeah.
And maybe a little bit of one.
First one's scary, man. Like, I remember leaving the theater, like, "That's some scary shit." Yeah, like made me jump a couple of times.
Yeah.
Second one, I thought was just like ridiculous.
I never saw them.
Yeah.
Like I remember one of them. I don't remember which one I remember, and then I watched this last one because it's like a mutual ground for the wife and I to watch movies. Like, what do we both not dislike so bad?
Yeah.
Horror or
Yeah.
scary
Well,
movies.
there's a reason why I have this space, because my wife doesn't like anything. So, all right, guys, that's it. We will see y'all on the next one. Adios.